Hi everyone, Teresa Calcagno here, and today I wanted to do a brief presentation on the career resources that are available to you as a bioengineering student here at Mason. We're going to start here on the library's homepage, and I'm going to click on the subject guides box underneath the main search box there. And it takes me, you should know this, it takes me to the subject guides list, and we'll go down to engineering here at the bottom, scroll down a little bit more. We're going to click on Bioengineering 101, the guide for your class. And on it, there is a page called Find Career Information. And that is what I'm going to be clicking on and where we're going to be looking at information today. So I click on that. I'm going to enlarge this a little bit to make it easier to read. There we go. And so we have several different boxes on this page. The first one is career resources, and these are different websites that can give you information about jobs and careers or salaries, that kind of stuff. And we're going to take a look at two of them in detail because they're very interesting and they're very easy to use. If you want to learn more information about biomedical careers, you can go down to the second box, and there are several books or websites that you can go to look at to get more information about what it means to be a bioengineer or biomedical engineer. The next box is the Mason Career Resources, and we'll take a look at those. And then the last thing is some links to some job sites. You may not be ready to be looking for a job yet, but at some point you may want to be an intern for the summer or for the school year. And so some of these websites will help you find internships also. So let's go back up to the top. And the first thing we're going to look at is ONET Online. ONET is a really cool, the website is kind of old looking, I'll admit it, but it's got great information on it and it's easy to use. And it's something that you'll be amazed at when you see how much information you can do. You can learn an awful lot about the job that you're interested in or the occupation that you want to do. So there are different ways to search. I always just do the occupation search, and because I'm thinking of a job title, and so I'm just going to put in biomedical engineer, and we'll see what that comes up with. That's kind of generic in a way, but it'll help. And what I find is I have the top 20 occupations that match the term biomedical engineer are listed. And so we'll enlarge that a little bit there. And so the very top, bioengineers and biomedical engineers, this is where we're going to look in a minute. But what I want to show you first is you see several of these have a sun next to them. And what the ones with the sun means is it's a bright outlook. It means that in the next 5 to 10 years, the growth rate for jobs in this occupation is going to be higher than the average growth rate in the US. So there should be jobs in biomedical engineering, basically. So let's just click on the link, and you can see what we've got. There's a summary report. They talk very briefly about what biomedical engineers do right here at the top. And then they give you some sample job titles that you could consider. A lot of these you can see are technicians, but here's biomedical engineer right there. Engineer, process engineer, research engineer, and these are all people that are working in biomedical engineering. It's just not necessarily included in their job title. As we scroll down a little bit, it says view report. You can go through it by clicking on the different tabs. And beneath that, there are links to specific sections. So if you want to know what a bioengineer is or a biomedical engineer is going to do, you could click tasks. And that's this first area that's illustrated right here. And you can see that 5 of 30 different tasks, daily tasks basically, are listed here. And so here are some of the examples: conduct research, adapt or design hardware or software for medical uses, evaluate safety of medical equipment, develop models or computer simulations, etc. And so there, in industry, especially the medical device industry, there is a need for people that are doing all kinds of jobs that have biomedical engineering degrees. You can go down further, look at technology skills. We're just going to scroll down a little bit. And it says there's 27 that are displayed, but 152 tools that people have used as biomedical engineers. And all this information is gathered from a survey that's done. And so these ones that have the flames after them, these are hot technologies that a lot of employers are looking for. So Microsoft Azure, Microsoft Visual Basic, if you're going to be doing software development or something, would be important. Or if you're analyzing data, MathWorks, MATLAB. I know we use MATLAB at Mason, Minitab, SAS, etc. So you can get an idea, and you can always come back to this as you're going through your program too, to see, well, maybe I should take another statistics class, or maybe I should take another design class, and help you come up. Knowledge that you have to have related to engineering, computers, and math and biology. Skills, and I will tell you the first one, critical thinking. This is almost always the first one in every occupation I've ever pulled up in this database. And so this is just using logic and reasoning to identify strengths and weaknesses of what you're doing. So critical thinking is a skill that all of us need, regardless of whether we're an engineer or an English teacher. We need critical thinking as we become adults. Active listening is important, especially if you're working with a client. Complex problem solving, again, working with clients, trying to find a solution to a medical issue, a way to, or equipment that could be used to help someone, and so forth. So there's 26 skills, abilities. Writing is always very important. And reading is always very important. And so sometimes it's doing presentations. So as an engineering student, you probably will be doing a number of presentations in your classes, as well as working in groups, different kinds of work activities that are involved, and just some more stuff about the job. And down here, it tells you of the people who responded to the survey. 53% had a bachelor's degree, 30% had a master's degree, and 7% had a doctoral degree. And so it's definitely not a field you can get into with, well, maybe not, a field to get into without at least a bachelor's degree. And as we come down a little bit further, there's just all kinds of different work values, work styles. Here's some related occupations. Maybe you're really more interested in photonics, and that would be something you could take a look at there to see what happens there. What a lot of students want to know is, well, what is the salary right now? And right now, here's the wages and employment trends, and it's almost $45 an hour in 2020, with an annual salary of $92,600. And this is the median wage, which means that half the people make above that wage and half the people make below that wage. We could maybe put in we'll put in George Mason's zip code and see what kind of salaries they come up with for that. And all these salary data are coming from the US government. So it's 110,000 workers in the Washington, Alexandria, Arlington area. Workers in this area average $110,000. It's not the median now, it's the average, but you can see the range starts at about 69 and goes up to $168,000. And then compared to Virginia as a whole, it's almost $20,000 less for the average. So there are other areas in the state where they pay less to be this kind of engineer. And so there's just some more information there about the local wages. And then there's also, as you come down, there's some job openings on the web. You can find jobs using this link right here. And then sources of additional information. And many of these are societies or certification boards, things like that. So we have American Chemical Society, the American Society for Healthcare Engineering. These are places that you could look to get more information about what biomedical engineers are doing. And so that's ONET Online. It's free. It's something, maybe you have a younger brother and sister that's doing a career class in junior high. They could use this to find out, explore career possibilities also. So now we're going to go back to the career page. Occupational Outlook Handbook is good. It's got more text though, so it's more like reading a report, whereas that is laid out in a number of different sections in ONET. The next thing I wanted to talk to you about briefly was NerdWallet. This is a pretty cool tool because what it does is if you're offered a job in California and you want to find out more about what it's going to cost to live, this is where you can go to find this. So if I currently live here in, oh, I hate scrolling all the way to the bottom. Here we go. Washington, Arlington, Alexandria, and I'm going to say I'm making 100,000 a year, and I want to live in, where's a good place to live? I want to live in San Diego. Great weather. It's a beautiful place to live. And so it turns out, I'm surprised at this actually, to maintain my standard of living, whatever my $100,000 a year is paying for, maybe it's a 2-bedroom apartment in DC with a nice car, gym membership, that kind of stuff. To maintain that same standard of living, I need to have $87,000. So if I apply for a job there and they offer me 90, it's going to be effectively a small raise, even though the numbers are not. It's a drop in salary, but the buying power is going to be bigger than it would be here in Washington. So you can use this to negotiate. If I think, no, I really want my $100,000, then they could do it. But the cost of living is 13% lower in San Diego, California. So it's fun because then you can come down. Where are the differences? Transportation is higher in California. You can drop this down and you'll get some more information about the cost of gasoline, that kind of stuff. Food costs, the same. Entertainment, lower. Healthcare, higher. And then on this one, they actually have a comparison of schools. So if you have children, you can get an idea of how good the schools are in San Diego. So this is called a salary comparison tool or a cost of living calculator. And if you can remember those terms, you can find them just by Googling cost of living calculator on the internet, even if you don't remember NerdWallet. The biomed careers, I encourage you to take a look at that. You might find some very interesting information and maybe even some personal stories from people there. Mason Career Resources is for students at Mason, and you have their services for free until 6 months after graduation, and after that, they used to charge a small fee for it, like $50 or something for a consultation. You can check their website when it gets closer to graduation or after you graduate to see if they're still doing that. That could change. They do all kinds of things, resume writing workshops, interviewing workshops. They're the ones that sponsor all the job fairs on campus and bring in employers to do interviewing. They also have industry experts, and there are 2 that are assigned to the College of Engineering and Computing, and it would be good for you at some point to get to know them and learn more about how they can help you. Handshake is how you can find a job on campus. All of the jobs for students on campus go through Handshake. And so if you're looking for a job in the library or looking for a job at this in the rack or something, then you need to go to Handshake to find it. And the last 2 things here, Interview Stream is an online interviewing practice thing that you can do. You can set it up, you can answer random questions, and it records you. And then you can go back and look at the recording. You can also share that recording with a specialist online, and they will give you tips on how to improve your interview. Career Shift is a great database, and in addition to having jobs that you can apply for, you can post your resumes there when you're job hunting, and you can also look for internships there. It's a really good source of internships, it also has company information, etc. It will require that you set up a username and password login to access it. And then the last are the jobs. Here's an online piece about the 10 best job search websites for 2021. You might want to take a look at that to see how they're ranking. USA Jobs is for US government jobs. These are not contractor jobs. These are regular federal employee jobs. And this is where you would go to find them and to apply. Indeed.com, this has been the #1 internet search engine in the US for a number of years now. So I'm sure you've probably seen it. And if not, take a look at it. It's pretty good. LinkedIn Jobs, many of you will be signing up, or maybe you've already signed up for a LinkedIn profile. The jobs portion of it is a premium portion, but if you're actually job hunting, it might be worth it. They do push jobs to you, even if you don't subscribe to it, but you can get better jobs pushed and you'll get people contacting you, recruiters contacting you if you're a premium member of LinkedIn. Anyway, and ZipRecruiter is another just general, more like Indeed.com kind of job search. So that's basically the career services. And I hope that you find it helpful. If you have any questions, please contact me, Teresa Calcagno. Um, you can email me. My address is here on the, my link is right here on the homepage. There's my picture. Just click this email link down here under my picture and you'll be able to get a hold of me very easily. If you want to schedule an appointment, it'll be an online Zoom appointment. Thank you for joining me and good luck with your semester.